My name is Sam Kinsella. I live in Somerset in the UK, and 6 months ago I started working in a local residential home for the elderly to get some extra cash, and I loved the idea that I could try to make a difference in someone's quality of life. I quickly became attached to a gentleman called Edward Hardy. He is 93 years old and has quite severe dementia. When I arrived, his dementia had led him into a state of depression, and he wasn't really communicating with staff or visitors anymore. It seemed like he'd kind of given up. Ed used to bang on the floor, shouting for help, and seemed distressed a lot of the time. But it saddened me when I went to help him and realised that he didn't even know he was shouting. He was very confused and nobody at the home knew what to do. Then one day, I was speaking to Ed and telling him why I lived in Somerset and that I was part of a band from the area. Ed's face lit up and he told me that he used to play piano for years. It seemed that the connection of realising we were both musicians instantly sparked a friendship between us. I found it sad that he was no longer in a condition where he could continue his passion for playing music. I downloaded some classical compositions, and Ed seemed happy listening to music again, but it wasn't until he mentioned the song Georgia on My Mind by Ray Charles that I realised he had a strong connection and love for jazz music. So I suggested that we contact his nephew to arrange for a keyboard to be brought in. The staff at the home were blown away as we watched him play, and his wife started to cry as the memories came flooding back. His whole demeanour changed that week, so late one night I had the idea of posting an advert on Gumtree to see if any jazz musicians would be willing to come to the home to play with Ed. The response was amazing, with over 90 replies in a week, people wanting to come from the other end of the country, and various people writing in to wish us luck with our search for volunteers. Somehow Ed's original band members saw the appeal, so when they got in contact with the home realising that Ed was still playing music, we arranged to put on a gig on the grounds of the home. Ed seemed excited by the idea that he could be reunited with his band after so many years. This was going to be his first actual gig in over 35 years, and none of us could have imagined him doing something like this when we first met him. As Edward sat at the piano with the rest of his band, we all held our breath, wondering how he'd react playing to a crowd of people. The look in his eyes when he was reunited with his old bandmates was indescribable, and the happiness it brought to him and his wife when the band started playing together again made the whole experience really emotional for us. It made me realise the power of music in enriching the brain and the human spirit. Since then, we've involved music much more in the home and in Ed's daily life, and it's changed the atmosphere here, and most importantly, it's genuinely changed his life in a massive way.